The other day, I was reading this article from Goldman Sachs, and it covers basic information about how AI has still not provided any value to any business, and there is no output that is measurable in terms of profit. So, as you can see, the title is quite clear: AI agents forecast to boost tech cash flow as usage source, and some random. I think this is also written using AI. AI agentic AI is expected to drive a 24-fold increase in token consumption by 2030. So, 4 years almost, as consumers and enterprises adopt the technology, according to Goldman Sachs. I don't know who is adopting this technology. AI chip makers, other than vibe coders, AI chip makers token unit costs are falling, setting the stage for gross margin improvements at hyperscalers as demand for agent applications rises. For next 12 to 18 months, there is likely to be a shortage of chips as semiconductor makers build new plants to catch up with the demand. And this is already a problem in front of us. You can see the cost of hardware is already increasing. We have seen the shortage of RAM and the increase in the price of semiconductor as well as RAMs in the market. Some devices like laptops, mobile smartphones are already expensive. The prices have skyrocketed since last quarter. Uh, See, the growth of agentic artificial intelligence is poised to dramatically increase the volume of computing performed by hyperscalers. I don't know who they are talking about. Running large language models or LLMs, according to Goldman Sachs research. So, this article basically talks about how there is this big number of tokens being consumed already, and there is still a value needs to be provided. There is no visible value right now that AI is able to show. If you have read that article from, I don't know from who it was, but it mentioned how the token usage on Google Gemini has skyrocketed and it's around in quadrillions, which is a which quite big of a number. And this article also includes that. With consumers and enterprises adopting AI agents, token consumption is expected to multiply 24 times to 120 quadrillion tokens per month. Between 2026 and 2030, says Jim Schneider, the senior equity analyst covering US semiconductor and IT services at Goldman Sachs Research. See, 120 quadrillion, I think Sam Altman can burn that amount of tokens by himself quite easily. Yeah, obviously there is going to be some concern. Like the concern is general investor community is sustainability of capex because the free cash flows of hyperscalers have been compressed, and we have a clear example of that. OpenAI, they are running out of cash very fast, and they are still not profitable enough uh, to sustain the business itself. There, I was just reading this news early morning today. Uh, Currently, to earn $1, $3 are being spent, which is quite bad in terms of business. And then this stuff where they're saying about there's a buzz around agentic AI, but so they are also agreeing that this is really a buzz around agentic AI. There's a lot of noise, but let's start with the basic. With agentic AI, you have autonomous agents that do not simply respond to a query. You have tell me about this and all that garbage. So it basically says that agentic AI is just a continuous loop of orchestrated instructions, a large system prompt, and a dedicated task what the agent is assigned to do, and which costs a lot of money because they are thinking tokens, they are processing tokens, and these tokens as and the problem with large language models is with each token, with each new token being produced, the time complexity increases quadratically. So it's not linear. The computation increases quadratically, and it's the architecture. There's nothing that we can do currently about it. And you can see the chart. Non-agent workloads, the token count is quite low, around 16.3 quadrillion tokens. But enterprise agents, like big companies, they are burning through 56.3 quadrillion tokens alone by 2030. And consumer agents, they are just like ChatGPT, people generating random text and talking to their AI agents. They're going to be generating more slop by 2030, and 45.1 quadrillion tokens is expected to be the number. And that's a big number. Well, it is a big number. I don't know what's beyond quadrillion, but it's a lot. It actually is a very big number. And it sounds very small on paper, on your computer, in front of your screen, but the computation, the money that goes behind all that, the processing is very huge, and there is no return value right now. But this is not sustainable at all. We have been following the falling unit cost of computing tokens for some time now. Semiconductor providers are delivering lower cost per token, 60 to 70% year for inference, which is the process of using trained LLMs to get results. That is a very rapid rate of decline. This is happening because of improving chip efficiencies and because of new architecture efficiencies in AI data center architecture. And we have clear examples of that, like Google runs their own T4 TPUs. Nvidia is also dedicated to producing chips dedicated to AI inference. Huawei is doing, China is doing that stuff too. Grok, Grok does that. They have their own something. I don't know what it's called. I cannot recall it at the moment. But they also use their own dedicated hardware for AI inference. Um, I think that they can cover the long term. To build a new chip factory might take 3 years. Obviously, the rate at which things are moving is faster than that. And if we remind 6 months, and we were just talking about chatbots, we would have fast enough capacity to easily handle that. The issue is that, and that's the issue. We are moving so fast, yet we have not the hardware to actually compute that fast, and we don't have that infrastructure right now, and we are burning through tokens. We are burning so much silicon, we are destroying so much land, we are wasting so much water from aqueducts and aquifers. But this is not sustainable in long term. I don't know what they're expecting. I don't know what they want from this technology. How long are they going to sustain this as a business? I don't know. I don't have the answer for that one. Improve cash flow for performance by hyperscalers. Yes, right now semiconductor makers in space are doing 70% plus gross margin, so there is no problem for those companies. And it's quite visible. The Nvidia stock price is rising. Jensen Huang is a billionaire already, and his net worth is going to increase more. The problem is hyperscalers, and now most of their free cash flow is being consumed by capex. This impacts gross margins, but there's a crossover coming. We can see an inflection of those gross margins because the costs are falling faster than the prices. That's the biggest issue for these companies. What is driving the demand for agentic AI and consumer market? If you think about it, a lot of the consumer activity is about online queries. Many today are traditional search. We see traditional search falling as a percentage of query by 2030, and that is going to get replaced by things like large language model queries. But next comes agentic use case. There are already smartphones take over agents in China that perform a bunch of tasks in background for you. And yeah, this is a very great example of how agentic AI is being implemented in the real world. Like Alibaba from China, they have this Mall Quen. You probably heard of it. They have it in their own interface. You can ask it, ask that chatbot to order you something, order you something to eat, buy something for you, and it's like a whole another level of infrastructure that they have built. It can pay on your behalf, it can buy things for you, it can decide things for you, it personalized, gives personalized answer because of reinforced learning. And it's very, it seems very great at the beginning, but it actually takes our ability to make decision, and I think that's the biggest problem that we are overlooking at the moment. And it also, you can imagine the mix of all queries changing pretty dramatically over the next 5 years. We have modeling that shows daily queries to LLMs growing at 40% compound annual growth rate to 11 billion by 2030. Why is growth of agentic AI and this article talks about all that, nothing fancy, but we are also seeing this change in the AI market right now. All the providers like OpenAI, ChatGPT, Cursor, Anthropic, Gemini, they have all increased the cost of their subscription. Each API costs more, I think, and there are restriction. I haven't used any of those for quite a while, but they have simply rate limited, uh, strict limits on usage, because there is clearly not profit. There is no profit right now. They are just burning through cash like paper. I think I know it's paper, but it's just a terminology. So I think we should be moving towards offline, local private LLMs now. I think that's the future. Public hardware like general purpose hardware that we use, basic GPU, basic working CPUs. This hardware is not capable of running huge models like GPT 5.5, Sonnet, or Opus, Claude Opus 4.7, and whatever it is. But I think there are pretty good models out there that are able to run on these publicly available hardware. And if anyone wants that, they can vibe code their way through it. And it's quite easy. They can use Olama, Hugging Face. There are pretty a lot of solutions out there that you can just uh, use to run local LLMs on your PC. And it's safe. First of all, it saves you money. Your data is your data. uh, there's privacy over everything. So I think that's the future. That's something that we need to move towards. And yeah, that was the whole point of this video. The costs are going to increase from now on, obviously, and we're going to see this by the end of the year. Let's see if we are getting replaced as software engineers by the end of this year. Some predictions are being made that by the end of 2026 and first quarter of 2027, all the white collar jobs are going to be automated. So let's see. We have been uh, hearing about that since last 2 to 3 years. So let's see where it what happens. And yeah, that was for the video. I'll see you on the next one.